guys, we recently just released a video and put up a picture on Instagram announcing that we were pregnant. It's all very exciting, and I would like to say a huge thank you for all the amazing messages and the well wishes and the congratulations and all the good stuff that we're getting. It's really overwhelming. Of course, it's very exciting to welcome a very little one to any family, and we're very excited that even people that we haven't even met yet are wishing us all the best. And I mean, for me personally, it just makes it even more real now that it's out there. I'm 4 months pregnant, and I waited this long to announce it because some of you know that I recently started my job as a doctor working in Cork, so away from Dublin and away from David. So we've been really busy trying to sort things out, so we finally had the time and we thought this was the best opportunity to share it with everyone out there who's been with us from the beginning, especially on YouTube and Instagram and our internet family. As I promised in the previous video, I was gonna make a separate video talking about how I found out, when I found out, how many weeks I was, and all that jazz. So get your cup of tea ready because this is going to be a long conversation. From the beginning, David and I weren't exactly trying to have a baby. As some of you know, I recently graduated med school. The internship year is one of the toughest years because of the transition from being a student to being a doctor and being responsible for people's lives. So when we talked about having kids, we thought to wait until at least I was done with the internship. Of course, I was gonna get pregnant towards the end of the internship and then have the baby and take a gap year and all that jazz. So I wasn't trying. But with every mode of contraception, they tell you that it's only 99% safe. So we happen to be amongst the 1%. So how I found out I was pregnant, the day before I decided to take a pregnancy test, I had a dream. I had a very vivid dream, and in the dream I gave birth to a baby girl named Victoria. So then I woke up from the dream and I thought, this is very weird. I had no symptoms, nothing. There was no nausea, no vomiting, nothing. It was just that dream. I thought to myself, well, I better take a pregnancy test. So then I went to my closet. I had this pregnancy test that I had kept since I was in university in England because they gave it out for free. So this was about 6 years ago. I've had this pregnancy test. I peed on the stick and went about my business, washed my hand, toweled it. I was about to leave and I decided to have a look. So basically this was what I saw, and as you can imagine, I was very confused, and I just thought that I wasn't able to interpret the test properly. You can see that in the big box there's a cross, okay? It's very clear that I was pregnant. Then the one thing that popped into my mind was, well, I've had this pregnancy test for about 6 years, so clearly it is expired. End of story. The pregnancy test was expired, I wasn't pregnant, and I went about my business. That day, David and I got invited to a barbecue at a friend's place. So I hadn't told David that I was pregnant because I didn't believe I was pregnant myself. So I took the pregnancy test to my friend's place. She's older than I am, and I just thought she's more mature, she's wiser, she can interpret this test better than I can. So I hid the pregnancy test in my bag, went to this barbecue with my husband, and then I called her to the room and I said to her, do you mind just telling me the meaning of this test? And she was like, oh my God, Adanna, you're pregnant. And I was like, the next day I went to a store. Bear in mind that David had no idea what was going on, and I decided to buy the digital ones that said pregnant or not, okay? I bought 2 of those, and lo and behold, I just said to myself, I wonder how many women this company has tricked into believing that they were pregnant. So basically what I did, I went to that pharmacy every day and I bought 2 new pregnancy tests. I was like a mad person, and I can just imagine what the pharmacists were thinking, because every day I walked into the store, I would get this look from the sales girl, and she probably was thinking, dude, you're either pregnant or you're not. Why do you keep coming in to buy pregnancy tests? But yeah, I just kept doing this. I just felt like it was a little thrill for me. Like whenever I got the chance and David was at work, I would sneak to the pharmacy and buy 2 more pregnancy tests, and it would say positive, and I'd go back home, and the next day I'd go back to the pharmacy. I think it was just my mind's reaction trying to deal with the whole crazy situation. I mean, I had just gotten back from Boston because David's sister graduated, and we went to America and we had the Boston meet and greet, and I literally had just come back from that. So the questions going through my mind basically was, if I was pregnant, how far along was I? My parents were arriving from Nigeria because some of you know that June 4th was my graduation from medical school. So it was gonna be huge. I had family coming in, I had friends graduating with me, we had organized this party, everything, you know, was kind of in place, and I was like, oh my god, this is not happening. There's no way that I'm pregnant. Well, I thought to myself, this is not the time to break the news to my parents, and I don't want to tell David when my family is here. I want it to be something that we share together. I decided to keep my mouth shut until my graduation was over. So basically, I was pregnant every day for about a week, living in the same house with my husband, who had no idea that I was pregnant. Yes, only me. I think every morning when I went to the bathroom, I just lifted my top up, looked at the mirror, and I was like, I cannot believe that there is something growing inside me right now. This is just unbelievable. I so basically carried on with my graduation event as I had planned, but all the while I was thinking to myself, what was the best way to tell David that he was gonna be a dad? The last event of my graduation, which was the graduation ball, we dressed up, we looked really nice, and after the ball we got back home and I said to David, I want us to end the vlog properly with the bigger camera, so do the setup and I'll be right back. So basically I had gone into the room, wrapped up 3 of these, the pregnancy tests. Bear in mind that I had about 10, and I wrapped up a little onesie. I'll show you the onesie. It basically says, I love cuddles with mommy and daddy. I wrapped that up and I wrote David a letter. Basically that letter was my thoughts when I found out that I was pregnant, and basically some of the things that went through my mind and whatnot. So I just wrote it down and printed it off, put it in an envelope. I got him a card and I had handwritten a few words. You can watch David's reaction. We went ahead and talked about it, and I think afterwards we realized that the camera didn't record everything, but as you can imagine, he was excited, I was excited. I felt a huge relief because I had been keeping a secret from my husband for a week. Like, who does that? David said, I cannot believe like you kept this from me for a week. And I was like, dude, I was coming to terms with it myself. Afterwards, we then decided to go to the GP and to confirm that I was really pregnant. So I went to the hospital. Now obviously I had to talk about the last day of my menstrual period so they could calculate the due date and whatnot. And I said to her, you know, I've been taking the oral contraceptive, so I can't really give you all these dates. Because we weren't able to come up with a date, I was referred for an early pregnancy scan. I went for my early pregnancy scan, and at the scan I found out that I was over 7 weeks. I was 7 weeks and 5 days, and which was very surprising because I had no idea that I was pregnant. After that, we were still in the middle of taking all that excitement in when I got an offer for my new job, and I found out that I was being posted away from Dublin. So we were gonna start this journey of being newly pregnant, and I had to move away to start my new job as a doctor, which was going to be intense, and I was pregnant without my husband. But I said to myself, I can do it, I'm a strong woman, I can do it. And of course, David is very supportive. He said, listen, it's only temporary, I'll come every week, every other week, and you come back every other week and whatnot. And it was all fine in the end. So we basically carried on, and I think at some point my face started to get a bit chubbier, and I got all these speculations on Instagram saying, oh my god, Adanna, we know you're pregnant, congrats. And I was like, oh my god, how many of these comments can I delete? Like, guys, I'm not ready to say that I was pregnant, because I was obviously waiting for the 12 weeks, and the 12 weeks went into 13, 14, 15, because some weekends I also work. Now I am 16 weeks pregnant, fortunately back in Dublin for the week, because David's parents are visiting, and I had the opportunity to finally announce that I was pregnant. It's all very exciting for David and I, and I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone who has sent in a congratulatory message. In the midst of my very busy schedule, I have a full-time job, so I will try my best to update you as much as I can about my pregnancy. But follow me on Instagram and you will be able to see pictures quicker, because I try to get in as much pregnancy shots as I can. And make sure to subscribe to our vlog channel, because I will upload vlogs from time to time about the pregnancy. Okay, thanks again for watching, guys. Bye.